Our topic today, I'm talking about what is the worst time to be in a relationship. Kumbuka, there's a good time and a bad time to be in a relationship. So what's the worst time to be in a relationship? Number one, when you are emotionally unavailable. So as a person, ushaifika point una feel you don't want to give people your heart, you don't want to talk to people, hutaki kuongelesha watu, hutaki kuchat na watu, hutaki kutext mtu. So you see, because you are emotionally unavailable, you are unable to do those things. No, hizo ni vitu zenye you'll be required to do when you go into a relationship. So when you feel you are detached, when you feel it's almost like unajidetach na wase, it's like you are pushing people away, that only means that you are emotionally unavailable. That's the worst time to go into a relationship. Juu ya nini? Because ukiingia kwa relationship na mtu, huyo mtu atateseka sana, because for them you will never be able to connect with them emotionally, okay? So because hakuna relationship inaweza survive bila kuconnect emotionally, when you're emotionally unavailable, when you feel like you don't want to connect to people, that's the worst time to be in a relationship. The other time ni immediately after a heartbreak. Don't go into a relationship after umetoka kupigwa heartbreak alafu nenda relationship ingine, because utaenda na so many expectations, because for one you are hurt. Another thing is that you're hurt and you want somebody to heal you, so you want to heal in a new relationship, and yet unasahau everybody is not perfect. Hakuna msi anakuanga perfect. So kama umetoka heartbreak, that's the worst time to go into another relationship, because this other person may end up hurting you, and then ukitoka hapo uende kwa mtu mwingine na yeye akuhurt, ukitoka hapo na and I came to understand kuna wasi wanaitangwa serial daters, those people who will never last single, like hatakangi kuwa single, hatakangi kuwa peke yake. So for them, they're always hopping from one relationship to the next. That's a bad thing, all right? So the other worst thing about the other worst time to be in a relationship ni ile time yenye uko broke, especially for men, okay? Jana nilikuwa live on TikTok, and a lady was telling me that chali yake amembaia 5-seater, so couch yenye ni 5-seater for 55,000 shillings, all right? Because dem anaishi separate, anaishi place yake, chali naye anaishi place yake. So chali alimbaia couch 5-seater for 55,000, and I was like, what? Unaget? So the worst time to date ni ile time yenye uko broke, especially for a man, because siku hizi expectations za madem zimeenda high. I'm not saying you do all those things, but utanid do ya kumpeleka date. Unajua ukiwa kwa relationship na mtu hawezi mwambia reason yoyote ya why are you not taking them out on a date, and that's why you find you start dating somebody anaanza kukucheat ama anaanza kwenda dates na watu wengine, because hizo ndio vitu haumfanyi. It's a bad thing, but sasa you see hawezi convince them ati so if you're not ready, if you feel like manze your financial status haitakuwa allow kudate, achana na mambo ya kudate. You just know ladies, wacha ikuwe casual, wacha ikuange mnajuana, yes, but you're not in a relationship. I'm not saying that you wache kukatia madem, but don't go into a relationship with them, okay? Especially as a guy. And then the other thing also ni the worst time to be in a relationship ni ile time when you get to a point where you feel like you are depressed, you feel like you are stressed. The reason why it's a worst time, because ukienda na baggage kwa relationship, all that baggage utaenda kuangushia ule mtu mwenye una date, okay? So whether you are a guy, whether you are a lady, anytime una feel ni kama uko depressed, ni kama your life is not going in a certain direction yenye unataka, and you feel so much anxiety and depression, that's the worst time to be in a relationship, okay? Have friends around you, have wase wenye mnazoongea. Of course unaweza kuwa unakatiana hiyo time, but don't go in a relationship, don't commit, because when you commit utaanza kupea mse mwingine pressure, utaanza kumpe stress, utaanza kumpe hiyo depression yako. So you see, you're going to dampen the whole relationship just because you're not in a good place in life. Uko mentally hauko sawa, okay? So that's another worst time to be in a relationship. The other worst time to be in a relationship ni ile time, especially as a guy, unaishi na wazazi wako, and it can even apply even to the ladies, because unapata dem akiishi na wazazi, probably amekewa curfew, probably amegroundiwa, probably ameambiwa kuna kutoka, kuna nini. So you see, trying to survive in a relationship in such a situation itakuwa ngumu sana. Why? Because you are always trying to figure out nitatoka aje kwa nyumba, ama nitamita aje umse. Now you see, your partner hataelewa, especially for men, hataelewa the fact aje tuko kwa relationship ama tunasema tuna date, but how create time kukuja kuniona, and yet maybe ni your parents ndo wanakukazia. If you are a lady, if you are a guy, when you don't have your own place ama when you are living with your parents, unapata, and especially probably unaishi in the same house, so si ati uko na kanyumba hapo nje, okay? So when you're living in the same house, unapata kama ni Netflix and chill, mtaenda wapi? You know, siku hizi at least probably wanaume wanaenda pia kwa madem, ama like madem hawana issue na kuhost wanaume. But sometimes ni poa when you are outside your parents house, you know the best time to date, okay? When already uko na ka place kako, hata kama ni bed sitter, hata kama ni single room, hiyo ni time poa kukuwa na msee kuliko kuishi na wazazi na bado unasema uko na msee, okay? There are people who don't mind. Wengine probably wamejengewa kanyumba na hapo nje, so they can do their stuff bila hata wazazi wake kujua. But sometimes when you are living with your family, kuna kuorganize restrictions mob sana, okay? So vitu kama Netflix and chill wewe unaweza kosa kuzienjoy, okay? So it's a worst time to be in a relationship, but haina shida, pia unaweza jaribu, but it's a worst time to be in a relationship, especially for somebody mwenye ame experience how a relationship can be ile time yenye maybe uko na place yako, because hamna limit ya time, hamna limit ya ati kama udema anaweza kuja sleepover ama akose anaweza kuja, you know, so you don't have that limit when you have your own place. The other worst time you don't want to be in a relationship ni ile time utaki responsibility. You don't want responsibility for anyone. Unataka kukuwa single tu, you just want to mind your own business, you just want to think about your own self, and it's okay to think about yourself, it's okay to prioritize yourself, okay? Unajua tumedanganywa huku nje ati hapana, unajua unafaa kuingia relationship so that you can take care of somebody. First start by taking care of yourself. So anytime una feel utaki responsibilities, because relationship comes with responsibility, either responsibility ya ku make sure huyu mtu ako happy, ama ku make sure huyu mtu amechangamka, ama ku make sure you're always checking up on this person, you're always checking up on their mental health, unawaangalia kama wako poa, you know, unajua ni responsibility. So it's almost like you're responsible to that person. So anytime una feel hauko ready for that responsibility, don't go into a relationship. The other thing also, when you feel you don't want to experience manipulation, to be controlled, unajua relationship comes with different characters. Kuna mtu mwenye anaingia relationship anaona hapa ndio nita control huyu msee, ama hapa ndio nita manipulate. So mtu anakumanipulate na emotions, so you are being emotionally manipulated. Somebody starts to, you know, unaanza kusikia ni kama uko deprived, unaanza kusikia ni kama inaitwa aje, ni kama like msee anakudrain, okay? Have you ever been in a point where you are drained emotionally? So that's the worst time. So anytime una feel utaki kuanza kucontroliwa, because you see relationship is about control, is about my emotions. So anytime una feel utaki hizo ma stories zote, you really have just to avoid to be in a relationship, because it's going to be the worst time for you. Juu unaamka asubuhi, msee anangoje umtext, msee anangoje umcall, msee anangoja probably ureply, msee anangoja probably umtumie sijui nini, msee anangoja probably you check up on them. You see, that's so much responsibility, so much control, so much emotions involved. So anytime una feel you are not ready, then don't go into a relationship, okay? The other also worst time to be in a relationship ni ile time una rise, I believe. Not ile time una rise, ile time ya like you're in your prime time, you're making money. Kama hauku umesettle by that time, it's the worst time to go into a relationship. Why? Because hii time yenye una make some good money, you're in your prime time, hiyo ndo time unafaa kusave, hiyo ndo time unafaa kupanga for your future, hiyo ndo time sasa unafaa kupanga mikakati, especially if you've been waiting for that time for long. Kuna wengine inawapatanga probably after kwa relationship, hiyo iko sawa. But kama yako imekupata ile time hauko kwa relationship, you're just single, you'd rather kwanza ucontinue kukua single, ukula hiyo prime time yako kwanza, uenjoy prime time yako kwanza before useme sasa wacha niingie relationship. But within that prime time invest, within that prime time panga mikakati, ujue sasa success yangu nitaipanga aje, ama hii pesa yenye na make sahi, all this money that I'm making right now nitaweza kujipanga aje, okay? And also the other thing, I think itakuwa point yangu ya mwisho, anytime you are building yourself up, you know, sometimes a while back I came to have an experience where when you are with the wrong person and you are trying to build yourself up, they will always be the ones wenye wanakudrag chini. Watakuwa wale wase wenye wanakuonesha wewe sasa unafanya nini. So they never see your effort, they never see ile work una put in, so they'll never appreciate it, okay? So in that point enye unajibuild, unafaa at least try kukuwa single. By the way, singlehood sometimes ni ya kujijenga. Jijenge, okay? If it finds you when you're in a relationship, ni sawa. But kama uko kwa relationship enye high work and you're trying to build yourself, that's the worst time to be in that relationship. You'd rather end that relationship, useme sasa wacha nijenge maisha yangu, okay? So yeah, comment kwa comment section niambie, what is the worst time for you to be in a relationship?
Gachin Lion!